Welcome to the best wrestling podcast in the world. Everything is wrestling. My name is Nick. I am back from whatever sickness, cold, flu I had. We're back. Episode, who cares? We're going to start with question of the week. And I asked Threads and WrestlingThreads in particular, who was one wrestler that you hated or disliked then that you like, love now? Let's get right to the answers. Some of them are very, very surprising. Who is one wrestler that you hated that you like and love now? First answer out of 102 comments, which is ridiculous. Seth Rollins. I don't know why, but I couldn't stand Seth, but now he's definitely grew on me, and I love to see his crazy outfits. I've always loved Seth Rollins. So I don't know about this one. I don't know about this take. I'm a Seth Rollins guy from the start. I'm rolling with Seth. Always. Please don't judge me, but the New Day during Black History Month? Shame. Shame. We got a Bailey. I can see people not liking the Hugger Bailey gimmick, but once she fully turned heel and started working with Sasha Banks, you gotta be all in on Bailey. I even like the Hugger gimmick, but it's not for everybody. I get it. Nia Jax was one that popped up a few times. Just one saying I like her now. Her mic work and in-ring skills have improved a lot. I think since Nia Jax came back to WWE, I think she's been great across the board. So I'm rolling with anybody who's saying that they didn't like Nia Jax back then that like her now. I get it. Nikki says, so I was not a fan of Tiffany when I first started watching NXT. When she was a farmhand for Fallon is when I started to change my mind about her and then loved her after that. I get that too. She was very daddy's girl when she first came into NXT. But I think her losing that match and having to be, working on the farm kind of showed a little different personality with her. And then once you on the main roster, I think she's been great throughout. Gabby says Toni Storm. That's because I hated her in WWE. She made the jump to AEW. I still didn't like her, but once I started taking AEW seriously, my opinion changed. Now she's one of my favorites on the AEW roster. Yeah, I think the timeless Toni Storm stuff changed everything for her. Jussie said at one stage it was Elias. She was pissed that he was added to the main event. Then it became a fatal four-way. I ended up loving him in 2018. I don't really have an opinion on Elias. I think the gimmick of musician talking bad about a town wherever they're at is always going to kind of sort of work. It's fine. We have another Bailey said Chris Jericho. I hated him as a child and love him now. I think he's in the minority here with this one. I think most people loved Chris Jericho and hate him now, but said is said, so we'll let him be. We got Ruby Rock saying, before I truly got wrestling, I fucking hated the Miz. We got a couple Miz answers in these comments. He's the most punchable guy in the world. Now that I'm older and smarter to the game, Miz is probably one of my all-time favorites because he's still one of the most punchable people in the world 15 years later and in a way that isn't tired. His character is a timeless asshole, which is surprising for an industry where careers don't tend to go past 20 years that often. I'm generally baffled that he hasn't been WWE champion longer or more. Yeah, Miz has a bunch of answers within this comment section, and it makes sense. Him coming from the real world and the reality shows into WWE, yeah, I can see people still hating Miz to this day. We have another Nia Jax, which makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, I have a lot of Nia Jax wasn't safe as a wrestler. I don't really like that answer too much. Mr. Clark, a fella. I would never say hate, but wrestlers who I didn't really care much for, who I enjoy a lot now, Pretty Deadly. Yes, boy. I can see it. I can see people still hating Pretty Deadly now. An answer I haven't crossed over onto this side, but an answer here is LA Knight. I didn't get the hype at first, but then he grew on me. Yeah. I I still don't get the hype. I'm not an LA Knight guy. Drew and Miz here. That original, yeah, I got Drew a couple times too, especially with that original The Chosen One gimmick versus probably when he won the Rumble in 2020. That was a shift for a lot of people. From then on, I think there's been a bunch more Drew McIntyre fans versus when he was the Chosen One or when he was in the 3MB and all that stuff. Definitely Drew. We have another LA Knight. Ooh, we have a CM Punk. I grew up not. So this is, I seen this one. This is perfect because I think a whole generation of people are like this, and that's probably where their initial hatred of CM Punk is. It says, I grew up not liking him because Hardy was my favorite, but now I love Punk. The CM Punk Jeff Hardy feud was amazing. If you grew up being younger in that era during Punk versus Hardy, you absolutely was a Jeff Hardy fan, and you absolutely hated CM Punk. So continuing that hatred from childhood to now makes all the sense in the world. We got more Seth Rollins, we got more CM Punk, we got more Drew McIntyre. Oh, so this Seth Rollins is a little different. I asked which version of Seth did they hate. It says right before he became CrossFit Jesus, I was a big Roman guy, and the cash-in was just icing on the cake. I'm never a fan of heels, and they are really cocky that would need a ton of help from multiple sources to begin. And he added that extra dagger with his promos. It makes sense. Tiffany, Dakota, Io? Io? I think that's the only Io on here, and I won't take any Io slander at all. Another Drew McIntyre, of course, with the Chosen One. Dry ass Drew McIntyre, but, you know, promos lately got him. This is the first. I don't think I ever hated a wrestler right out the gate, but I didn't really get FTR, especially when they were in WWE. I totally get it now, and I loved them. I don't really have an opinion on FTR at all. Matt Hardy, I was always a Jeff fan, but his appreciation for the business and broken character swayed that. The broken Matt Hardy made a lot of people Matt Hardy fans fully. I get this one. I get. I don't like, but I get it. Roman Reigns. When Vince tried to push him as a babyface pre-COVID, I wasn't a fan, but thanks to his Tribal Chief run, I like him now. Acknowledge him. Always. This is a little surprising. I still really don't care for his in-ring work, but I really do love pretty much everything that Batista has done outside of wrestling. I like Batista all around. My wife doesn't like Batista as an actor. I don't know why. I wasn't a fan of Seth early, but the burn it down and the outrageous wardrobe makes sense. John Cena. Wow. Okay. I can see John Cena too. I see it. I know why. We have a Sami Zayn back to back. We have a Sami Zayn and a Kevin Owens. The switch happened when he was representing Shinsuke. Okay, that makes sense. And then with the Kevin Owens, I stopped watching wrestling between 2016 and 2024. Despised KO back in 2016, but since I started watching again, I really like his intensity and storyline. Plus, he's funny and love trolling t-shirts. Coming into wrestling in 2024 after taking a 8 to 10 year break, I can see people being on either side of Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns with no explanation, acknowledge him. This was alright, so this was a shocking one. And of course, it's from Dice and Capes. Shawn Michaels. But the reasoning makes sense. I am a big fan of Bret Hart. After the Montreal Screwjob, I didn't want to watch him at all, which is crazy not wanting to watch HBK. Crazy. We got a Charlotte Flair. No reasoning behind it. I can see people being the other way around with Charlotte, but I don't know. Charlotte coming in, being Ric Flair's daughter, rubbed people the wrong way, even though she can't control that. She's great in the ring, but I see people still not like her to this day. I don't know. Dominic Mysterio, again, another one being a Nepo baby. Thought he was too green and didn't deserve the TV time, but then the heel turn won me over. I think it won everyone over once he turned heel. I could not stand Bianca Belair in NXT. Then she had the amazing Royal Rumble debut with 8 eliminations, and then she had me when she told Charlotte Flair, "You don't even go here." I remember that NXT promo. That was pretty good. When I first got back to wrestling in 2021, I did not like Eddie Kingston. I just didn't get it. I think within a year, I was won over, and now I'm a huge Eddie fan. That's how I feel with Ethan Page. When Ethan Page was in AEW, I was blah on him when he first came into NXT. I was still blah on him, but now I'm an Ethan Page fan. I like the guy. Our last one that I'll read is John Cena again. Another John Cena one. I saw him as another Hulk Hogan, overly pushed with limited moveset, but now I'm sad and happy just for his farewell tour and not because I want to see him gone. Um, if you were younger in that not younger, I guess if you were in like that teenage range to early adult range of the John Cena initial run, I can see you hating John Cena back then because he was, for all intents and purposes, Super Cena. No matter who was in front of him, he was going to win. Even when he took losses, he was eventually going to get his get back, no matter what. Randy Orton, Edge, everyone. Doesn't matter. John Cena was eventually going over. He was Super Cena at the time. I can see why people weren't big fans of him. But then, 10, 15 years later, you're going to miss the guy, and everybody's all in on this farewell tour. John Cena. I'll leave it up to you if you're listening or watching this. Put it in the comments. Who was a wrestler that you did not like or hated back then that you like and love now? Follow me on all social medias at notnick_s. I'm on Threads every day. I'm on IG. Sub to the YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time.